Parents of girls with OnlyFans, how did you find out what they do and what was your reaction? A cousin of mine did it, and when her dad found out, he wasn't mad given it paid for her rent. However, he was very upset when he found out she was also working the pole at a strip club a few days a month. Her only response was, "How did he think I paid for the trips I go on?" I thought this was going to be followed up with a comment about her work ethic being inadequate. Then again, sat nights amount to only a few days of the month, but I gather that's where the money is made with less grinding, if she has the, star quality. I was catching up with a cousin, and he told me he just found out his daughter had an OnlyFans and was working at a strip club. He was very upset because he said it ruined strip clubs for him and he couldn't look at the girls the same way and would never enjoy them again. Otherwise, he didn't really care. I think this is really what the issue is for men. It's all fine and dandy when it's someone else's daughter they're wallizing, but as soon as they find out their own daughter is being wallized by other men like him, then it's a problem. Don't most women not actually make that much from OnlyFans? I imagine now that it's mainstream, it's an incredibly oversaturated market. Yet the comments seem to think that the kids are going to be buying them a new Porsche. I worked with a girl who showed me what she made in 9 months, $72,000. I personally saw this on her of. I didn't live in a huge city, and she was definitely not ugly, but she wasn't drop-dead gorgeous either. Average looking with no chin. Her personality was really cool though. All she had on her of was professional photos, but she told me she took requests. I don't know what all that entailed or how far she went with requests, as I didn't ask her for details. She was pissed off and said she'd never do it again because when tax season came they screwed her over and she owed a few thousand in taxes. I think she said a little more than 4,000, and she couldn't pay it because she was broke. That's why she got a regular job to pay for her taxes. I was just like, that makes no sense because all you had to do was put money aside for taxes as you get paid, but whatever. I've heard girls much prettier than her say they don't make on of, but their personalities were. Maybe this one was willing to do things on private videos the others weren't. I don't know. All I know is she made a nice chunk of money off of doing whatever she did. To be fair, was a few years ago though, during the start of pandemic. It's the same as any internet job. You can technically make a living or even millions streaming on Twitch or making YouTube videos. But the reality for 99% of people is that unless they put in more time and effort than a regular job over a number of years, they're going to be getting pretty much zero viewers and dollars. OnlyFans is probably even worse because it's paywalled, so getting anyone to even check you out, let alone pay to see what you actually produce, requires aggressive advertising on Reddit and such. And like most Twitch or YouTube, a lot of OnlyFans creators aren't really making content worth paying for and don't understand what they need to change to appeal to customers. I've definitely seen posts like, "I've been doing this for months and have 0 subscribers. What am I doing wrong?" And you check their profile and it's just blurry photos of their boobs in the bathroom mirror. I recently found the completely SFU YouTube channel of one Bernadette Banner, who mostly posts about what people wore in 19th century England. Apparently that's her thing. She does costume design professionally, and with about 1.5 million followers, it's amazingly popular. One day, as a joke, she decided to have an of that would only display ankles. Those saucy, slutty ankles that someone in Victorian England would admire. That week, she picked up over 1,000 fans and over $650 in tips. Not bad for a joke of page, but what surprised me was that said with those numbers she was a top 11% creator. So no, the vast majority of pages make little to nothing. I specifically remember reading on another post a girl who had an of and also had friends who'd done it, and she said you don't make much at all if you aren't super well known, popular, have an extensive fan base before you start one. She also went on to say that the people who are actually making okay money from it are doing personal videos, full nudes, not lingerie, bikini pics, and regularly interacting with their subscribers. And she said you had to be super consistent in posting. So basically, 97% of don't make much at all. This is not an actual statistic but a generalization from her post. I know a guy who said something to the effect of, "I hope my daughter never does that kind of stuff, but if she does, Daddy needs a new car." worked a just above minimum wage job in the 90s or a girl who began stripping at night. She bought a new Mustang convertible that her dad used to borrow all the time, acting like it was his car. He was clueless, also was a smug hole as to what she did at night, and just thought his daughter was really good with money. Gotta be a super genius to stretch 50-hour on 14-20-hour a week work schedules into a new car payment. My former boss' daughter did OnlyFans once it was known at work. He was open about it and even shared the link of her Instagram. There was even a rumors that one of the guy we work with was one of the guys she used in a video. I guess he wasn't happy, but since it was out in the open, he must have been it. At least she'll make money. This is my biggest fear. My dad or brother finding it and then sharing it with mates, etc. I don't do that stuff, but when I've considered it for easy money, it's put me off. That article doesn't include the part of the story where the victim was molested by her father as a kid, that he would take her to the houses of friends and let them touch her, and that she tried to escape him as an adult only to be exploited once again via OnlyFans. And her mother knew about it. It sounds like a clickbait story or something fake, but it's actually just horrifying and traumatic and sickening. I had a fansly at one point, not anymore. It was mild, just like lingerie pics. I make feet content. My mom said, since you already have a foot in the game, pun intended, I mine as well go all the way and make less mild content. My dad said I should get 10% since my balls contributed to you, and also I do need a new fishing pole in case you wanted to buy me one. My parents are built different. My daughter accidentally sent the wrong video to the group chat. I am a bit disappointed, but I thought she was selling drugs or something terrible because she always had money but no job. I hope it doesn't have any long-term consequences for any future careers she might want, but at least she is making money and no longer mooching off me, so that's a plus. I know 3 people who do OnlyFans content. One is a very attractive Muslim girl who I used to date. After we weren't a thing, she started off lightly with just scantily clad pictures without her face, but people wanted to see her face and see more of her body. She did a few specials and realized that they made her by far the most money, so slowly the content became straight up. She kept all of this private from her family because they were very strict Muslims. Her mom found out one day after walking into her room and seeing her laptop open with the OnlyFans earnings on screen. She didn't look around, but she asked what OnlyFans was, and so she told her mom, who told her dad. The next day she'd been kicked out of her family home. She hasn't spoken to her family in over 3 years, but she's in a happy place and is making bank. Another girl I know does lesbian OnlyFans content. I've seen a fair bit of her content as she shares bits on Snapchat to ask for some reassurance. She admitted it to her family after buying them a new car, as their Ive was having issues. Her dad won't even acknowledge that she does it. Her mom is fairly supportive as long as she stays safe. The last one is my cousin. We were messing around at Christmas in 2019 with talking photos of people in the room and then modifying them with no hair, crazy levels of smoothing, making them look like a baby, making them old. She presses on the back button in the gallery, which takes your back to the tile list. If you press it twice, it takes you back to a tile view with all photos from the phone. She accidentally pressed it twice, and there she is, spread legs with a dildo. There she is, topless with her hand down her panties. My reaction was, oh. Her reaction was very quickly closing the app to the home screen. On the bottom right, there's an OnlyFans app. She didn't say anything. Instead, she went quiet, sat there, and then eventually said she was going to get a drink. I followed my cousin out to the kitchen where we were alone, and I told her to not worry, it doesn't mean anything to me. Nearly everyone sends or has received them. I couldn't care less and admitted that I've sent and received stuff. I asked her if any of sisters or parents knew, but she doesn't think they do, but had a close call nearly getting walked in by her sister as she's recording herself on the bed. I was struggling to not laugh because she was so mortified that I had seen. I asked her how much she was making from it, and she had only been doing it for 6 months but was already making £2,000 a month. No one else in the family knows she does it, and I helped her set up her phone so the photos are hidden by default. Don't have an OnlyFans, but I am an online worker and erotic hypnotist. My parents know because I told them. My dad's reaction was slight discomfort, but he's chill with it. My mom's reaction was, you can't do that, you don't know how, which was odd. Now she just doesn't want to hear anything about it, understandably. I mean, I wouldn't want to hear that either. But then again, I don't want to hear about anyone's work. It's all people talk about. Your job, it's not your personality. Let's talk about anything else, please. My now 24-year-old daughter decided to get married at 18 and be a stripper. She was very blatant about it and said she liked the money and attention. We live in a small Ohio city where people frequent gentlemen's clubs and talk about everyone's business, so there was no hiding it. We found out about her and other services because she has teenage brothers and parents of friends that frequent those sites, and found out her brothers have been devastated by the embarrassment of it. While I try to love and support her, it has to be from a distance because socially it's been a very humiliating thing to know that half our county has seen or received services from my daughter, including my husband's uncle who didn't know who she was at the time. I have a hard time looking at men in a good light with this experience and situation of hers. I cried. I blamed myself. I tried to encourage college. I got angry. Now I'm just checked out about it. She's willing to put herself out there for an easy lifestyle, and I can't change that. I have read somewhere some dads subscribe to their daughter OnlyFans. But I have also seen girl complain their uncle subscribe when they legit advertise it to their 200 social media friend and they have no fame. Who do you expect to pay for something that is free everywhere else on the internet if nobody know you? Like you get what you asked for at this point. I did cam modeling in my early 20s 10 years ago, and although I took all the precautions to block people from my area, once people found out what I did, they were able to work around it. One night someone leaked a video from a live on Facebook. I was in lingerie, mostly just talking inappropriately. This before Facebook was as locked down as it is today, and there were several comments made about how, wow, her dad must be proud, and eventually someone tagged my dad and he commented saying, she's 23, she's served our country, she has a career outside of this extra work she does online, and she's a good person. My daughter is wholly independent and confident, just the way I raised her to be. And let's face it, some of you do much worse for free. Daddy-o shut everyone the down. My dad has always been my biggest supporter. The video was leaked to Facebook, recorded from a live cam site. Kid in that situation here. I actually told my parents, mostly because it is a really active part of my life and I know nothing on the internet is secret forever. I didn't want it to be a surprise if it ever came up one day. They aren't super happy with it, but it has helped a little with some medical expenses, and it is hard to argue with that if you won't help me yourself. I don't exactly break the bank like those articles you read online. Most of girls just aren't that lucky. But at least I don't have any secrets. Am a cam girl. Told both my parents when I started back at it actively, because I figured I'd get ahead of the I'll tell everyone you love what you do. Mom basically went, oh, should I go get pearls to clutch? It definitely bothers her sometime, but I've normalized it a lot by doing things like, how stupid writing horny copy is. Seriously, it can be the dumbest XD, and we talk a lot about the photography side. Hello, she's a professional artist and is designing me a logo sort of thing. Dad basically pretends the convo didn't happen. He largely doesn't care, but it make him uncomfortable and he has bigger fish to fry. We have made custom fetish videos since 2008, husband and wife. Told parents a long time ago. Dad and mom are totally fine with it. Mine, they just can't believe what people will pay for and want to see. Wife's dad wasn't thrilled obviously, but not he's okay as long as we don't give him too many details. At this point we aren't in many videos anymore, but we still produce dozens a month. My grandpa was completely confused when I told him. He was stuttering and like, wait, what? I ended up showing him some pictures and he said, Jesus Christ, I thought you were the good one. I was like, Grandpa, there's a picture on the wall of you in your Navy carrier holding a Playboy magazine right there. His response, that's normal. I had to tell him because he was always asking how work was and I just don't like lying to anyone. When my son found out, not my wife's biological son, that was awkward and not good at the time. He was 15 and said some really demeaning things about my wife and we had a talk, let's just put it that way. I didn't beat my kid if that's what we're thinking here. It was just a very loud talk, argument that wasn't handled well. He's fine now, he's 26. We talk about it occasionally about some of the weirder content I'm producing. My sister one night, after a few too many drinks, brought up that she was hustling hard and making money off of during a family get-together. This was after my dad nagging her about still not having a job over a year past completing her business degree at an Ivy League school where he paid her tuition in full. She was bragging about making $1,500 a month for barely lifting a finger, not realizing she is basically making less than minimum wage, and considering her stupid spending habits, she has zero saving from it anyway, I am sure. He was just supremely disappointed. He told her he was embarrassed and ashamed, not because she was revealing herself to creeps online, but because he felt like a failure that he raised someone so lazy and entitled. She is genuinely an intelligent person and she always thrived in school, so she is certainly capable of doing good work, but the friends she picked up in university have definitely negatively influenced her, as they are some of the most undeservingly entitled people I have ever had the displeasure of meeting in my life. One time I was visiting her at her place and her friend or roommate came back from a date and started ing about how the guy wouldn't buy a bottle of crystal champagne for her to drink because he was too cheap on the first date. A few of my friends have accounts and they've experienced a wide variety or reactions. Some parents were understandably concerned, others angry and horrified. Some were indifferent and shrugged their shoulders, justifying it with, well, at least she's earning some money and not starving. Wouldn't say any of the parents were supportive, but the one big thing is that they were all relieved their kid didn't have to travel to potentially dangerous places to service clients. One girl is a teacher, and after about 6 months of teaching, a Snoopy student stumbled upon her account, even though her face isn't shown in any of the pics, vids, all lingerie and stripteasing. She has a very distinct and visible tattoo that instantly identified her. School admin naturally voiced their concerns and strongly encouraged her for the sake of her reputation and the school's, since they were getting angry phone calls from parents to deactivate the account. But by then, the damage was already done to her career. I think I would be okay with it. Not great, but okay. I would want them to understand a couple of things. There are a tremendous number of weird people out there, and they may not have her best interests at heart. A nice way of saying the world is filled with weirdos. Once it is on the internet, it is there forever. Her erasing her content won't mean a thing. Be really sure before you start. I'd like to have her explain how this is her best option. This is important. I ask this question all the time. The us is extremely conservative compared to the rest of the world, and compared to the us of 30 to 40 years ago. You don't have to go any further than this thread to see that. Most of their heads would have exploded if they lived in the 70s or 80 seconds. Man, was that fun. Have a plan to protect your secret identity better than Superman's. What are you going to do if someone you don't want to know finds out? Lastly, other people that care about her may not feel the same way, and it may cost her some relationships. Because she has a choice doesn't mean it doesn't have a cost. The posters here seem a bit prudish and judgmental. My sister has had an for about a year now. She lucked out enormously. She's really successful and brings in more than enough money to make it worth it for her. Our mother knew from day one. Sister in question called her as soon as she set one up, and I believe she downplayed the kind of content she would be posting. I asked my mom to share her thoughts. You know, I'm not allowing myself to really think about it, accept or feel any way about it. I don't want to know about the content. I'm in denial. Sister has told me that there's really nothing lewd on there, and I choose to believe her rather than investigate. Do I actually believe her? Probably not. It is not, and has not ever been, a secret. I think she's posted about it on all her personal social media. Family all knows. Family friends know. It's honestly just so bizarre and surreal. Occasionally our mom will just tell people about it when they ask in conversation what my sister does for a living. I just like to tell people she's a successful influencer, which is also true. I still can't believe the amount of money that passes through that website. Do people not know there's an endless supply of boobs already on the internet? At what dollar amount of paying for new boobs to look at does the realization hit most that they're actively losing at life? Literally selling bottles of water to the drowning. I think it's the personalization of videos, like you can request the creator if he or she can do this or that, or wear this and perform next time, or make a specific kind of content, etc. You don't get that on simple videos. I subscribed a guy who mostly did cosplay, wasn't naked or anything, but he would ask for costume suggestions and would dress up as Hollywood characters and oftentimes shirtless. He would also release nude graphic novels sometimes. It was fun. I'm 32F and I had a conversation with my dad recently about of. He said if he was female, he wouldn't hesitate to find the right niche and sell his, citing some news story he read about a woman who sold her used bathwater for thousands and took a luxury holiday with her boyfriend. I said it seems like it could be easy money if you found your audience, and the main thing putting me off was the idea of actually conversing with people. I got the sense that he would certainly not be ashamed or embarrassed if I decided to make money that way. He's always been one for empowering his daughters. Not a parent, but I stumbled upon the TikTok account of a friend from high school 10 years ago now, and the TikToks were borderline risk and suggestive. Out of curiosity, I clicked on the Instagram button on her TikTok and it took me to a different Instagram than the one I was already following. From there, I discovered via a Linktree that she had an OnlyFans. I had always thought she was good looking and my curiosity got the better of me. I found full-on solo and couple videos and images. I wasn't surprised, but I was at the same time. The 18-year-old me would have been ecstatic. My daughter was brought up with the understanding that work is work. We've always encouraged her to be happy, healthy, and safe. She was pretty upfront with us about setting up her account and able to share achievements with us like reaching top 2%. We've always been supportive, helped her with her taxes, etc. It's a job that pays a hell of a lot better than most of what's out there. We'll support her as long as it continues to keep her happy, healthy, and safe. A mom here kind of broke my heart that she chose this way to make some extra money. I found out when she got the W-2 form and looked the name up. She says it's normal and common. Not the way I was raised, but I just told her I want to make sure she's safe and treating herself with respect. Haven't even tried to find her posts, wouldn't even know how to or do it if I did know. She also worked full-time at a daycare, so did this on the side. Just hope it doesn't affect her negatively, emotionally, professionally, etc. I am close friends with a family and have known the girl since she was a toddler. She is 20 now and it's highly preferable to other forms of work in her opinion. They joke about the "it's 10 p.m. do you know where your children are?" because she works from home, has the top floor of the house, bedroom, bathroom, and room for her cam work. They know she's safe and respect her autonomy. They refuse to charge her rent. They are adamant that as her parents they will never do that, but she really enjoys being able to treat them, handle emergencies like car repair, help out bills, groceries, pet care, etc. I wouldn't be surprised if she has enough for a down payment on a house soon. They're proud of her independence. I know there are horror stories about families finding out and disowning people, but they're a very stable, loving family, which is nice to hear.